If you're looking to become an OptimizePress power user, the first thing you've got to do is master the live editor. And in doing that, the first thing you need to do that is to have a look and understand all the individual elements that you can add to your web page. So you can see there are an awful lot that you can add that do an awful lot of things. Some of these are more simpler than others. Some of them are quite complicated. So some of them allow you to put other elements inside them. So things like the overlay optimizer or the feature box allows you to create a nice coloured frame and then put other things inside. Don't forget you can search for things. So if you wanted to find a piece of text, text box for example, that's a quite quick and simple way of finding those particular particular element. So I would recommend that you go through every element, try it out, see whether it works for you. One of the things to be aware of with all these things is that you have the ability to change the choices you made. So if we have a look at feature box, if I pick that first one there and start putting some details in, that'll create a box with another element inside. If I want to change that, there's a little quite grey, dark and grey kind of button at the top here that if you hover over, allows you to go back one and change your choice. So you can see that's changed the display type. Get to know the individual things that little buttons here that give you different abilities like delete, drag and drop, some quite advanced configuration things that you can do, like hiding things for mobiles or tablets. You might well use some of those. And equally well, you can put different element names in. If you're using my advanced course, I'll give you some stuff on doing that. When it's a more complex element like this one, where you've got elements inside elements, you have this extra little box appears that allows you to edit the container, but normally you would just be editing the actual item itself. So in this case, it's the contents of the container are a series of other elements, so you can put elements inside elements. So those are complex, but again, not that difficult. You just understand that it's a container. So it's worth experimenting putting elements inside other elements. So let's just edit that, for example. Let's just get rid of that bit of text and add in a video. That's picked a video style. Pick a YouTube video. I think I've got one. There we are, to cut and paste. You can play around. I'm not going to make it autoplay because it's annoying. So what we're effectively doing here is coming up with another way of putting a frame around a video. So in this case, we've just got a frame that's a bit too big, but we could shrink the size down or make the video bigger to allow it to accommodate. So it's worth experimenting, putting different things inside different elements. The other thing about the elements is that they're not always obvious as to what they do. So something like the news bar creates a nice little attention-seeking bar. So we can put in something like a warning, if I can spell, and then some text to read for the person to look at. So you can see that's created quite a nice little attention-grabbing bar that you might well put above a video to gain attention, or say on a thank you page that then goes onto a little mini sales video. You might well use that as the warning, don't leave this page until you've watched the video below kind of feature. So certainly getting to know the different elements is quite useful, and knowing how to drag and drop between things. We'll do a bit more of that in another video. So you can drag and drop elements using the little grabber. You can also drag and drop whole rows. So if you've organized something that you're going to use several times, so you created a description of a video with a video box, a title, some text, maybe a download button, you can put those on one row and then cut and paste that row to duplicate your effort. So you don't have to keep adding individual elements. So by wise use of cut and paste and copy and duplicate, you can quite easily create something very, very quickly. So let me just show you doing that. If I duplicate the whole row, you can see I've now got all of that, all of those elements that I put on that row together. So by clever use of using rows, you can create pages that are quite complicated quite quickly, particularly for things like membership sites. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an interest in getting to know the Live Editor in a lot more detail. A lot of it is really just getting in there, getting your fingers dirty, and playing around with the options on the side here as well. So I'll see you in the next video.